Right, here we are in the greenhouse. Now this is my tomato trial. These are the 4 Gardener's Delights that were put in at the same time. Well, 6 actually. So the 2 that are getting pruned are that one and that one. And the 2 that aren't getting pruned are this one and the one at the far end. I thought the fairest way to do this was to have the 2 in the middle are easier to keep smaller because these are going to get huge. But I thought sort of spread them out and see how they get on the best. So there's one over here, which is kind of the fairest way to make a comparison, I think. Now what I have noticed is that these plants here are a darker green and look more healthy than the 2 that have been allowed to go without getting pruned. And the other major difference is, look at the number of flowers, and tomatoes are starting to set on these ones now. And the 2 that are getting pruned are putting lots of flowers out. And look at the ones that aren't getting pruned. There's only a few flowers, a couple of flowers up there, and a couple of flowers, some flowers down there. We've got tomatoes on as well, but not nearly as many flowers. And it's the same story over here. There's a few flowers there and a few flowers there, and I don't see any down below there. So it looks like we do prune for a reason, and it seems to put the growth into the flowers. That would tie in with the idea of the plants pushing fruit out when they think they're going to die. If they keep taking the foliage off, this is only a theory, if you keep taking foliage off, it maybe stresses the plant slightly and forces it to put fruit out. I don't know, but for this particular variety, Gardener's Delight, it looks like the pruning is better than not pruning. But I'm not going to change this. I'm going to leave them just to see how many tomatoes come off each one, because I'm interested myself. Now, these are the 2 with this one here has the eggshells, and this one here has banana skins. The one with the banana skins has got some flowers coming. Oh, it's got quite a few flowers now, look. And the one with the eggshells has got almost the same amount of flowers. So there's no differences yet, but what I'm interested here in is whether the fruit splits or not. And it's this one here. It's not the blossom end rot. So this one is the control for that, basically. The rest of them have no eggshells. So if these split and this one doesn't, or the blossom end rot doesn't happen on this one, and it will be worth doing again next year. Those are some peppers that I had left over. I put in pots to see how they would manage in pots, and they're doing well. And if we look at the peppers here, aren't those super? Those are really nice. Now we've got the red cherry here in these 2. The next 2 are cayenne. The next 2 are Hungarian hot wax, and the 2 at the back are jalapeno. So those are better at this stage than they've been before. And I've just spotted something here. Look, we've got flowers starting on them now. So those are better. What am I doing different? I remember Pine Tar said in his video that his peppers didn't do well because they got too much rain. So this year I am not watering these nearly as much as I used to, and they seem to be doing much, much better. I just give, when they start to get a wee bit sort of soft looking and the leaves are starting to move down a bit, I give them some water then. So it's basically little and not that often, and it seems to be working so far. Right, this here is more tomatoes. These tomatoes are ones that I have outside. They're all outside tomatoes, and they're all huge because of the heat. So they're an awful lot bigger than the ones that were outside. Now, I want to see how it compares when the fruit actually comes. There's fruit on these now, look. There's fruit there. Can you see that? I'm watching it. I'm trying to get through the lead. Yes, there we are. There's fruit there. So those are called Red Alert. So I'm interested. This one here is called Fiorentino, and I'm very interested in this because it gives large, irregular fruits. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But this one here is Garden Pearl, and it's a very prolific. No, sorry, this one's Garden Pearl out here. Here, that's Fiorentino. That's Garden Pearl. Gives a lot of fruit and a lot of growth. But I've noticed here a lot of flowers on it, but not as much growth, and it's inside. So maybe it prefers something slightly cooler. This is my mother-in-law's here. This is one of the hundreds and thousands. That's another one beside it. And I'm going to have to open the sunroof in the car to get it up to her because it's going to be huge by the time we get up. But we're hoping to get there next weekend. And this year my conscience is clear. My mother has her 6 tomato plants and marigolds in her garden now in pots. So it's not like last year we ended up with a huge guilt complex because they waited until the end of July to go in. They're in now and they're doing very well. She's got tomatoes. In seeing my mother this morning, and her tomatoes are doing well. Now, this is more tomatoes here called Roma. And I've discovered something with those. They're starting to fall over onto the ground and then start growing up again. So I've got these stakes, and the bottles are to stop me putting my eye out. I've got these stakes in to try and get them to grow up, but I might just leave them as they are. This is more Gardener's Delights here, and they're doing well. They're getting done traditionally where they get pruned. Now remember the corn that was about 2.5 feet high outside? This stuff was planted in the same day, and it's over 6 foot high now. Because I'm just over 6 foot tall, and those are taller than me. So they're coming on really well, and these ones here are the same. So I'm going to get an early crop of corn, I hope, with huge, huge full cobs. And I'm still eating corn from last year in the freezer. It's pretty delicious. So this experiment seems to be going very well. I'm just hoping they don't get much taller on the roof. And then we've got cucumbers here. The cucumbers are doing fantastically well. There's two there. And look at this. There's more. Look at this. Look at that boy there. That boy is lovely, isn't he? So I'm getting loads of cucumbers, and I'm doing another experiment with those. I've got a cane running from there right over across the top of the corn to see, kind of train these boys along the top and see how they get on. And I've done the same here, and I've got two lots going up to there. And you might wonder why I have a bottle up there covering that cane, but my friend Kieran is very tall, and he might put his eye out, so just in case he comes over, I've got that up there. Lettuces here, starting to bolt, but I've got other ones in and ready to go. And this is 2 cucumber plants out of a pack of 10 that actually survived, or the seeds actually germinated, and it is absolutely taken over here. It's going really well. And then I've got loads more lettuces here. Some are starting to actually bolt in the seed trays because they're so restricted, but I'll just throw those out and start more. And I've got more here going. Those are some more lettuces for later on. This is all peppers that I'm going to have to throw out because nobody wants them. And then look at the roses, isn't that lovely? My friend Michael, my wood turning buddy, brought those at Christmas for me, and they kind of died back. So they were brought down here to the emergency ward and trimmed back to nothing, and they've done really well. The interesting thing is, exactly the same thing happened with these 2 roses. Now I've taken all the flowers off those, but the same thing happened inside the house at Christmas. They kind of died back, and now they're grand. So this here has done the same. So there we are. It's getting hard to see up through the greenhouse now because there's so much stuff. But you can see lots and lots of cobs coming on the corn. And pollination will be no problem. I wonder will the camera pick this up? If I just hit this. See the pollen falling down there? So look at the pollen all over the leaves. So there'll be no problem with germination of the seeds, or the pollen, the fertilization of the seeds. And then I've got some lettuces just stuck along the back there just to fill in space. And the pepper, I'm really, really pleased with the peppers. They're super. So there's 933. That's the way things are at the moment. So tomato trial, the ones that aren't getting pruned are putting out a lot of growth and few flowers. The ones that are getting pruned are it's 833. The ones that are getting pruned are easier to control, and they're healthier looking. There's a bee in. Isn't that great? I'd love to see bees in. And what do you call it? So the ones that are getting pruned are easier to control, and they're putting more flowers out. The ones that aren't are putting on loads of growth. They're not as healthy looking and not as many flowers. There's a bee. Look at that. So there's 913, and the sun has just come out. It's a kind of a midland day here. We had 10 beautiful, beautiful days, and now it's kind of gone to the dogs. But it's to be good again next week. Over the next few days, will be a lot of rain. That's why I wanted to do this now. So there you are. Final look at the greenhouse, and everything's looking good. So all the best now. Bye bye.